Hey, welcome to the Runaways podcast. My name is Cody, and this week we are going to be talking about, is MST Limited actually any good? Do some predictions for this weekend's PTI event, where the new cards are finally going to be legal. I think it's in Montreal. I am joined here with Dan today, but I have the most important question to ask you. Where plant? Where we need plant update. It is update the plant time every week, and we have no plant.
The plant is thriving. It's got a new home. It's on our back porch. It's actually doing a lot better. It's got a little bit of life now. I don't know what did it. I guess more sunlight. I guess it's being outside probably because it's not like in the sun. It's like in the shade. But no, the plant's
So
got some life left. I thought
the plant in the room strategy is now done. That was that test is over.
Man, that thing was like, if I walked past it, it would shed like 20 leaves on the floor. It just wasn't worth it, and I was doing a poor job.
Oh, the plant's gone. So that is for everyone who's following the plant update, which my girlfriend, last time I saw her was like, hey, I listened to the podcast, and every time we start up and start talking about that plant, it cracks her up.
Nice.
And then a bunch of other
this
comments
might be the last time.
Yeah, no plant. You can watch every week. You can see the plant deteriorate. It's great.
I'll definitely post an update on Twitter or something eventually.
Yeah, we need plant updates. It's required.
Yeah, either I'll post a picture of it being super healthy or super dead.
Okay. Well, Dan, we have a lot to do. And we are taking time away from nonstop testing to make sure we get this podcast in. Because that's all we've been doing.
It's killing me a little bit.
I think I've been locked on 5 different decks for this event.
Yeah, same.
We are breaking all of our rules, which is like we should have been locked on a deck like 2 weeks ago. So are you nervous yet? Because I am a little nervous for Nationals.
No. A little. I feel fine. Like, I know I'm going to feel good about Nationals, and I know I'm going to feel the best you could ever feel for Pro Tour. Like, I love that it's the same format because, like, usually in the past, like the past couple of sets, we'd get 3 new heroes, 4 new heroes, and they'd be like minimal impact. They're like, clearly this one's good, and these aren't. But this set, they decided to say, hey, here's the new 3 best heroes in the format. Figure it out. Like, a huge change up. And they're all like so different. Like, they all have different like matchups that they're good against, and it's just like, it's a completely new format, and I don't know, man. My advice to everyone is just pick a deck. It's a tough one to figure out.
We seem to be having the same issue though. It's like pick a deck, but the decks just they lose to this. Okay, well play that deck then.
We're just not able to settle, right? Like,
yeah.
And that's how we got to Dory last season. We didn't settle, right? We were close to settling, and then it was like, no, just not good enough.
Yep, and relook. But yeah, I don't know. I have decks that I'm excited about, but we'll see where I end up because I've gone full circle in this. But we're not here to talk about CC. We're going to be talking about the limited format, whether that be sealed and or draft. I know we just had pre-releases out. And Dan, how were your pre-releases this last weekend?
They're pretty great. I had an awesome time. I was I don't have to go into my record too much, but I was more practiced than the rest, so like I had some advantages, and I was teaching people like this is how you transcend and all that good stuff. But no, it was great. Like it was a little overwhelming. The 8 packs, right? Like the first one you do before you're used to it, it's like I don't know what cards to play. This is too many cards. But like after I got used to the format, it was like so nice to have like I would have like a 10 card sideboard for new, like get all these good blues out of here. And I think that was necessary. Like new felt kind of overpowered as like a fatigue strategy in sealed. So I think being able to deny your opponents a value, your new opponent value by not playing good blues was like necessary. Otherwise, I think new might have been just too good. But no, I had a great time. Like every build I had, there was like 3 different archetypes I would play for my hero depending on the matchup, which was really fun. I learned a ton every time I do it. I went like 16-0, and then I was like, I haven't played Enigma yet. I'm gonna force Enigma, and I went like 1-2, and it like did not perform at all. I just don't know how to build it yet.
Yeah,
but now it's cool.
I don't know. I had a lot of fun. I agree with you. It felt like the sealed format had a lot of depth to it. I really wish we could play like it's probably going to be too late now, but like a sealed calling, when the set was relatively fresh, that we could have gone to, like the world premiere would have been nice. But we did for heavy hitters. But I think the set was has been a lot of fun. I agree that the new feels very powerful if you like get the right stuff. But I had some really good games where like, unfortunately, my first pre-release was fine. I played Zen. I thought the 4 rounds structure was a little weird if you had like not enough people to do 4 rounds. But like that was like as told by LSS. At least,
Was it?
yeah, all the shops.
All of mine were 3.
Really? No, they were.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be dictated 4 rounds by LSS. As I was told, the program was telling you to do 4 rounds.
Interesting. No, I went to 4 different events, and all of them were 3 rounds.
Really, all of ours were 4 rounds. Everywhere I went.
Interesting.
So that was weird. Like my first one was like, like 9-10 people. It was on the Saturday where there's like events all day long. Any 30 minutes that you look at, you can go to an event. And so I just went to my local, had a good time, got ran over with by a Zen mirror where you're just like, here's 12. And they're like, here's 19. And you're like, oh no. Other than that, I had a lot of fun. And then I went to one on Sunday and it was like 33 people. It was great. I think there was like 10 new people in the room who had never even played Flesh and Blood before. And then like another handful of people who had like dabbled with it a little bit and they were coming out to play the new set. So I thought that was and it was just in the middle of PA. It was like not anywhere like you would expect. It was like Bethlehem, PA. There's just a 33-person event. And I thought that was great. It did make the events, kind of long, because we just kind of got rid of time because there was a bunch of new people.
We did too, yeah. We had some hour-long rounds.
Yeah. And so like, it was just kind of like the timer would go off. You'd look around. There'd be like 6 or 7 matches still going. And then the guy's like, these people have never played the game before. Just like, let's not mess them up in time. We'll just give them an extra 10 minutes. It's fine. Which I can't really fault them for. It's a for fun event, right? Like, just play the game, right?
And at pre-release, I'm always asking my opponent for a rematch.
Yeah.
Until the next round's ready.
So
I thought you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so I did only play against new. So I opened a new pool and then I played 4 news. One of my matches was my opponent had the great sideboard. He was just like side everything out. The only thing I'm putting in are like hisses and like that was it as blues for me to play against. And that game was really interesting. I thought it came to fatigue, in which like I fatigued him by spamming chi over and over again to get all the last cards out of his deck. And unfortunately I missed his bomb, which was his cosmic, which is just like pay this, deal 15 damage. I was looking for it. Like I saw him pitch it in the first cycle. And if I was a little bit more serious about it, I would have counted it out exactly. But I just like had a rough estimate of where it was. And it got like to that turn and I was just like, chi. Like, where is it? I chi spammed like 3 in a row to try to find it. And I couldn't find it. And he's like, here's 15. And I was like, oh no. But it was fun. Like that's like a crazy depth for a sealed game, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. No, it was also deep and dynamic and a bunch of different ways to attack games.
That's not how it was when it was just throw a 7, block for 2 3s, throw a 7, block for 2 3s.
No, I think regarding like new and fatiguing, I think the Transcend card that puts an action back in your deck is like the best card of the format for sealed.
Yep.
It's just Remembrance Plus. It's like so insane.
Yep. All the ones that were not combat tricks were just like infinitely more valuable than the combat trick chi.
Yeah. But adding a 3 for 7 back to your deck is like so absurd if you're new. It's like another two cards from your opponent. But I found the like progression of how many Transcend cards I would play pretty funny. It all happened the first day, but I was like, I put like 2 chi in my Zen deck. And I was like, that's not even close. I want 6. I was like, nope, all 8. And I was like, no, a little too much sometimes.
I found it. This might be wrong. So for like playing in sealed, this might be the wrong approach. But I found that I took a bulk of my blue Mystic cards and just threw them away and just went, I'm never playing these. Like they might block for 3, but like I don't care about block 3 that much. And like I don't care about giving a blue card +2 or any of the Light and Strike abilities. Or the only attack that I cared about was the 1 for 5 that became a 7 because I thought that attack was good against non-new opponents. The rest of the ones that cost 3 and stuff, I was just like, yeah, get them out of here. And so like it felt like I did open a lot of cards, but I had like a stack of like 20 cards that I just was like, I'm never considering this for my deck, and just threw it off to the side. And I did it in both. Now it could be wrong to look at it that way, but
yeah, I think the tenants, I think those are dependent on the quality of your blue attacks. like if you open 2 or 3 of the rare blue attacks,
Mhm.
the 3 for 5s that become like 3 for 7 plus,
Mhm.
I think those are actually like pretty nuts. Like you can run like a 20 blue base where you're playing one of those pumps or go agains into a 3 for 7 and then transcending and then either fetching a combo card or banishing and then playing their cards. And
I felt like those were my like I put some of those bigger like blue attacks down as my these are for like Enigma. If I'm playing against an Enigma, I'm gonna put these in because I just need some big things to do on some
yeah,
turns. But it wasn't like I just played against new most of the time. So honestly, like my blues are just terrible. I took all my fancy blues that I wanted to run and just put them off to the side and never put them in my deck.
yeah. No, you just have to. But no, I think you just have to skew very blue heavy if you
Mhm.
want to make use of those. Which I think is sick. Like I've had drafts go poorly where it's like I'm completely cut. I'm just gonna slam all these blues and I'm gonna be a blue deck that's a red deck in disguise, and it actually works pretty well. Like I just love that there's so many ways to navigate the draft in your sealed pools, and
Mhm.
it's very interesting.
It was weird.
Hard to say what's correct.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to spend that much time on the actual sealed portion, but some of it does translate into draft. But it was interesting because I took like a
Mhm.
CC approach. I had like a 25 card deck that I was like, this is my deck. I'm going to add 5 cards for each matchup.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
was
No,
like,
my sideboard was so different for each matchup.
mhm. I just knew like I'm running these 25 against everything because these are my 25 good cards. And then it was like, if new, put in these cards to make up for it. Like I put in
Mhm.
yellows and stuff. It was like really interesting to be like, oh, all these yellows just go in my deck now for playing the new
Yeah.
mirror. And like they're so strong. And then it was like, oh, I'm not playing against new. Put these nice, good, strong blue cards in. Put, and I thought having that level of depth that you could take in sealed made the experience very, very good. It's I think my favorite
Yep.
sealed format I've ever played.
Oh, I completely agree. I had a Zen deck where it was probably like a 16 card swap,
Mhm.
depending on if I was playing the mirror or against the new.
That's great.
That's just so fun.
I hope 8 packs, more often. I thought that was much more
Mhm.
interesting. Excuse me.
8 packs were great. Less yellows were great. Gameplay was great.
Now,
Transcending feels satisfying.
as for draft, overall, how do you feel so far about the draft in this format? I know you spent a lot of time on draft already.
Yeah, so I did like 10 drafts the first week, and then I stopped drafting because I was playing in person and pre-release. So like I was playing when people really had no idea what they were doing. I think if I did more this week, people would have learned a little bit more. But like we're saying about sealed, I love it so far. Like it feels so dynamic while you're drafting. Like I I think you could be the 4 of 5 of a hero. Maybe Enigma's a little harder, but and be fine. Like you can still find ways to navigate and have your own like synergy pockets going on that still work. So I feel like you don't really get screwed in this draft. Yeah, I don't know. I'm learning every draft I do. I'm finding like a new like, oh, this card works well with this card, and like these are worth building around. And how many chi you want, how many blues you want is like never the same for
Mhm.
a single draft deck for like per hero basis. Even like some people are saying like Zen wants 0. I'm like, no, Zen wants like 10. You're crazy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of depth. I think we'll have scratched some of it by the time nationals come around, and then it'll be refined and even deeper by the time you get to
Mhm.
Pro Tour. How do you feel about how bomb heavy this set is compared to any fab sets we've ever drafted before?
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. And I think it's a huge thing. Like there's a couple commons, a couple rares, and almost every majestic is like almost a I win the game card if this like lines up at the right time. Um, my early impression, I assume will change later, but my early impression is that it's great because I think that's what mitigates the issue of you chose the wrong hero and now you're just screwed because it's cut. Like if you get one of these bombs early, you can just build around that, and like even if you're getting cut, like it's good enough if you can just play towards that game plan and pull it off right.
Yeah, I go back and forth. It feels
Yeah,
like I'm drafting Magic more than I'm drafting Fab, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because I actually like Magic Draft.
I think
Uh,
Magic Draft is like definitely the bar
yeah,
that you want to
and
reach
so
for.
like this feels closer to that. It feels like one, all of my picks don't matter, and what I mean by that is like not in a negative way, in a way of like I
Mhm.
can just take this and then take that over there and then take this one over here, and like at the end of the day, I'm just like I got 30 cards and equipment. Whatever. Like I
Oh yeah,
don't.
the 30 card restriction is so perfect too. We missed that.
Yeah, so like it makes it like much nicer when I'm drafting. I feel like I can float around and decide where I want to be, and then like worst case scenario, I'll just take a bunch of blues at the end to like make up for, you know, anything that happened. But maybe my power in my reds or power in my other cards make up for the fact that I have these not so great blues in my deck. And so like you can flip flop in the draft a little bit more than you could previously, and you're not at a huge disadvantage. However, at the same time, I hate when my opponent, I'm like, the games are like back and forth. We're doing the thing back and forth, you and me, and then they're just like
6 auras,
and they're just like big bomb card, and you're just like, but why do you have that? Like, why do you have it here in this perfect spot? They're just like it, you know, Enigma does. They're like,
well, that's what you want in a
and,
card game, right? Like, that's exciting. And
yeah, it's just like, I don't disagree. It's just, I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I go back and forth on it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Where
I haven't felt that they're like win the game on the spot though. It's like I win unless you come back with a bomb, right? In the next turn or two, or
yeah, like you have to have like a bomb at that level, right? Like you have to have some majestic. Like it just feels like you got to find your majestic. But you don't always get those, and so then you're playing against someone who like drops one, and you're just like, oh no.
Yeah, but just be new and banish their majestics, right?
True.
Like their top 4 cards, be like, nope.
So yeah, it goes back and forth. Sometimes I've seen it not be impactful. Sometimes it's been like a really big deal. Like I had a guy drop Miragai for 8 on me in a draft, and you know, it's just like, I think I lose the game immediately on the spot.
That's what I mean. Like if you get that early, you just need to draft like every Transcend card, and you have a deck.
Yeah,
just 3 blocks in Transcend and get to the Miragai, and maybe it's good enough. I don't know.
Coalescence felt very similar to that. Almost all of the Transcend legendary cards have felt that way in most of my draft games. They can be awkward where they can like cost you some points in a game, but like anytime you get to slam them, they're like so strong.
I think Chase the Tail too.
Chase the Tails is the next one.
That's a full build around. Like, it's like Dread Scythe to me.
But it's just weird because you'll just be like looking for your little advantage, We're going back and forth. Okay, back and forth, back and forth. No, like I have the advantage.
1 card 7.
Yeah. You're like, oh, okay, you got me there. Okay, I see how we're playing this game.
Yeah.
And
I think.
Yep. Go ahead.
I was gonna segue if you had something on the
same
topic.
You're good.
Okay. I think the other thing that makes this draft super nice and like flexible is the fact that I don't know if they doubled the blue frequency or if it's like 1.5x, but the issue before when your hero got cut is that you have to now like fight for these blues to get to like 8. Where like that's not going to happen. Like every pack's going to have like 6 blues. So I think that's a huge upgrade for the drafting process.
Now you got to fight for your reds to get to 8.
Yeah, unless you see the open hero. I agree. But that's what I'm saying. Like you just need a couple of reds, and then because the blues are so strong, like the blues are reds, you can get your strong cards and then bail and get these like blues that attack as reds and just build around that if you need to. Like
I think there's a lot of different strategies in the draft, which is like unusual. It just feels like there's several different ways to build.
For now, it might prove that like there's these optimal strategies that you just have to do, but it doesn't feel that way.
It doesn't feel like it'll get there before Nats, to me personally.
Agree. Like it's not like a math based format like heavy hitters, right? It's like you gotta like work for these synergies to get your value.
Agreed.
Or like have this game plan of I'm gonna flip a chi and then play Miragai, right?
It's good. It works.
Yeah. But like there's multiple steps there. You can't just like slam the card, which I like.
I do. I just so far I'm enjoying the draft. I enjoy playing the games. For the most part, I think they have incredible depth to them until they don't. And some of the games still have incredible depth, even when, you know, you're both just slamming strong cards to each other. But News in-game cycle with how many chi they want, and if they're going to try to chi you out in the late game, like they have so many decision points they have to make. And pitch stacking, like tracking, is like super important. And then it's like surprisingly, like the shuffle becomes important on the other side if you're playing against a new who's going fatigue. Like it's just like these just little things that like shouldn't matter in a limited format are like really relevant in a limited format.
It's so deep. And then you even have like the chi interaction or the transcend cards. Like if your opponent goes to target something to bottom, you can banish it and then they don't transcend. Like it's so there's so many little things like that. Like I think we're gonna keep discovering interactions like that, which is like
so far I absolutely love this set. This is if we went the podcast back, I think it was like, you know, several months ago we talked about how a bunch of the sets weren't very good, right? And then I thought we had heavy hitters, and that was like, oh, this is a good step in a good direction, right? Yeah. And then this set is just like even better than heavy hitters, right?
Yeah.
I'm expecting the next set to be bad, just for everyone else out there. Like, it's hard to, like, you can't go up from here. Like, this is like a really good set.
I do always feel this way at the start, though. I hope it lasts.
I still like heavy hitters, though.
Yeah, it's solid.
I think it's a good set. It was significantly better than the previous sets that we had. Barring the fact that I really did like Bright Lights draft. I didn't like the set. I thought the set was kind of meh, but I did enjoy drafting Bright Lights. But no, so far very happy with it. I wish we could, I wish we felt as good about CC as we do about, drafting the set.
We will. It's just, we got to figure some stuff out.
It's just not there yet. And I'm assuming everyone is in the same, like, you can see it on Twitter because it's just like every other day it's a new hero is the problem with the format. Like, it's like, hey, it's like funny to step back and be like, oh, hey, Twitter finally found the thing. Like,
no, I called it too. Like, as soon as I saw the KO Armory deck and the first 2 expansion slot cards, I was like, wow, these new heroes are going to be super broken if this is what the upgrades we're giving are already good heroes.
Yep.
And they are. And now everything's broken and terrible at the same time, like every meta.
I mean, the great part is we get to see a little bit of that this weekend, I believe. It should be, I think,
that's a huge deal.
Montreal, I believe, PTI event. It's going to be CC with the new set. It's one of those like rush jobs where people have to like get all the cards the day after they come out, essentially.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little wonky.
So that's always been fun. I mean, we had a couple of those in the Philly area before, where it was like Arachne just came out, and I like got all the Arachne cards, and like went to a battle hardened, was like, I'm gonna go lose. It'll be great. But I think we should see a good representation of the new heroes coming out, even though it'll be the day after it. People are excited to play the new stuff. I think we'll be overwhelmed by KO as well. But I would not be surprised to see a new hero just win the event this weekend.
I think we're going to see something linear like Azalea win it, probably.
It's very possible.
Something that already had like decent adoption is like punishing to like unoptimized decks and is linear to play. But I agree. I think all 3 new heroes are capable of spiking this event if people put in the work and get the cards in time.
Yeah, that's the main part.
I would bet on Azalea, though. Or KO.
I'd probably bet on Azalea as well, unfortunately.
Maybe Kano.
Yeah, Kano. They have to put one card
Kano
in.
wins every battle hardened.
Yeah.
Kano.
Kano's so good.
That's a problem.
Yeah. Azalea's too good. Kano's too good. Everything's too good. I'm waiting for
everything's too good, but also terrible.
Waiting for Twitter to get back around to Azalea's a problem.
Yep.
That should be at least give me one day this next week of Azalea's a problem tweets. That's what I'm looking for.
Yep.
Make me feel better about myself. But I will not be going. I think we have a couple people on the team who will be going to that event to have some fun. So that'll be pretty cool. I don't know if it's being streamed or not. I mean, I've heard
that's a shame.
I've heard various things of like it's going to be streamed or it's going to be recorded and then uploaded later. But I tried to have a Mansan on here. We could ask him directly if that was the thing that was going to happen, but he had some other meetings that he had to take care of. So I guess we're all in suspense of will this tournament be recorded? Because I would love to watch some people busting out the new heroes in person.
Yeah, I'd be all over that.
I mean, irregardless of like what I play at nationals, I am like in love with the Enigma deck. Like I just love playing the deck. I don't know if it's a nationals deck for me personally, but I've already like thought like I'm probably gonna bling this deck out and have it as like my deck that I play locally and play at other stuff around that are less qualified because I thoroughly just enjoy playing the games. And it's been a while since I've had heroes that are like that. Like this is like Prism level for me of like enjoying playing the games. Like even when I'm losing, I'm enjoying that I'm playing the game. And it feels fine. And like I just want to play more of the deck. So
yep. That's where my wit's done. It feels like Fi got a little back. Like I'm a powerful ninja again. I like searching my deck and my blues being good.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm just like, I think I'm just gonna I already have some boxes coming. I have no issue probably blinging this deck out.
Marvel Chi.
Yep. I opened a Marvel
exactly
Chi
the same.
At one of my pre-releases.
Dude, my pulls were abysmal. Oh my god. My best sealed pull was like 3 Majestics, but 2 were like expansion slot and they were like Evos.
Oh. That's sad.
Yeah, and I did like 5 of them.
I opened the heal Heal one, Hokage one, or whatever it is. The
Oh, nice.
in the Marvel, it's gorgeous. And I was like, "Ooh, I've won this event already."
Oh, heck yeah. That's great. My locals hooked me up. They traded me that one, and Stir the Pot was the first one.
Nice.
Shout out to James.
That's awesome. Okay, let's go over to some podcast questions. These questions are asked by members of our premium Discord. If you would like to be able to ask questions on the Discord, get any of the videos, ask the team questions, find people who also are trying to practice for their nationals so that you can get some good games in, feel free to join the Discord below. Also, if you're looking to get drafts in the free section of the Discord, you can find out how to do drafts on Draftmancer as well. But to jump in to these questions here, let me find them. We have great production value where I can not find our podcast questions. There we go. Okay. So first one coming from Renzo is, what are the best first picks non-majestic for each class in MST draft?
Oh, it's so easy. It's Winning Blow.
Yep.
Red.
Yep.
Winning Blow red.
Yep.
And Winning Blow red.
Or Blanche. Blanche red.
Oh, sure. Rares included. Yeah, that card's nuts.
Yeah. Any
card's
rare,
good.
like, it's generic. Generic red thing is best card. Best first pick.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Yeah. Agreed. And if you need like the class card, it's like what? Maybe Pick to Pieces. Waning Spectre.
Waxing,
Is the illusionist
waning,
one?
whatever it is. Yeah, the one that's
And then some combo card, pouncing Chi or Key Unleashed, whatever.
can't like Key Unleash isn't in the set, is it?
It's just renamed. It's the same card.
Mm.
Key Overwhelmed or something. It's
Okay.
the same card.
Okay.
I think there was like an issue or something and they renamed it on accident. I forget.
But I will say, we're not being facetious. The best open pick, best first pick for every class is a red generic attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
No, I don't think it. I don't even think.
I don't know. I don't know if you like take all of them, but like Winning Blow, that's a attack 4 block 3 is insane, and
Dude.
the 3 for 7 is just so disruptive.
Yeah. All the 3 for 7s. I think Blanche is like really good.
Yeah.
Like that. Turning off colors is a big deal.
Yeah, no, that's like a majestic level card for the limited format.
Oh, I will say not the peekaboo card. The look at the face down card, because it's only like a 2 for 6. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's not the same
it's
level.
nice for some cost curves for like your go against a ninja and what's the other case? I don't know.
Yeah, but
it's like a cost curve failure for me.
It's not as good as like
for news go again. It's nice if you have the boots. You can go like 0 cost 1 for go again, and then that. So it has its spots, but it's not like an every deck all-star.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a first pick every time card. Even like the 0 for 4s that have 2 block, that have like effect if you do thing, are great.
Yep. I think you can make an argument for their class equipment too.
Class equipment. I want to make the argument for the instant equipment that just blocks 1 as a first.
I mean, I think all the equipment is like first pickable.
Yeah. Man, do I love that that equipment, especially like the boot sections and like, you know, some of those, like I just want all of these in almost every class, at least for some matchups. Some matchups I might prefer something else, but like having the instant ability, like just to flip it up and be like block 1 of your daggers so I can play the game will be great. Okay. Nathrex asks, aside from attending as many tier 2, tier 3 events as possible, what would be your advice in terms of leveling up your play?
Record games, review your games, review testing partners games.
Yep. And they did mention if
The
they do
big
have a
one.
partner that are both playing the game and trying to take it more seriously.
Yeah, record games, swap them. Hydra, you want to go through that, Cody?
Yeah.
Comes up like every week.
That's
a good tool.
We still Hydra. Like we've been Hydraing every single day in our Discord. Yeah. Like some people hate it, but I love the Hydra. I think I learned
2-person Hydra is fantastic. 3-person is okay. 4 or more is actually just detrimental.
Dude, when we had 8-person Hydras for chain, we got so good. I think we got so good because we had 8-man Hydras. on
It
every chain
depends
turn.
on where you're at in your learning cycle. I agree.
Okay.
After you have like some mastery, it's nice to have all the eyes.
Yeah. I think at the beginning you're right. If you get a couple of people, and what hydraing is,
Like 2 is so perfect.
yeah, if you get a couple people, so someone's playing the game, and then there's a couple people watching them play the game, and while they're playing, you guys are all talking throughout all the lines together on what you could do, and that's the basics of hydrating. That number is probably good when you're both like you're all still trying to figure out the deck together. Once you have like a level of mastery of the deck, I think at that point you can have a billion people hydrate you, and that helps expand even further on things that either you yourself are blind to when playing the deck, because after you've played a deck for long enough, sometimes you just get your heuristics take over. You stop looking at certain things the same way, and or two, you can find things that you've just missed because you've never considered them. And so I think at that point, then expanding the Hydra out makes a lot more sense. They do take a while to get these games done, so it's better if you can have people hydrating both sides. So you have like one or two people hydrating both sides because both people care about it. Because then they don't care if the match goes long.
Mhm.
It's not as great when you're just the one person, the testing dummy in that group, but you got to do it. Um, it helps a lot if
Sure.
the testing dummy is also interested in the deck that you're hydrating, because if the testing dummy can play like they don't know what your hand is, then you all can learn it at the same time. Just a way to keep everyone included. But I strongly suggest always doing a Hydra.
Yep. I think like collaborate with your locals too. Like I was at pre-release and I was like playing against one of the locals. His name's Adam. But I was like, wait, he likes to play Victor. I wonder if he has his Victor deck with him. And then we stayed for like 5 hours after the event, just jamming Victor games because I want to see what the matchup was like. And I got like so much value out of that. So just like work with the people that are close to you that you can meet up with.
Mhm.
If you have a local player who's good at one matchup, like that's your testing partner for that matchup, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the best player in the world. It just has to be like pretty good because that's usually the skill level at
Nationals.
like calling events,
Yeah.
nationals. Yeah.
Agreed. I think all those things help. I think just recording and having both of you watch the game back is super helpful as well.
Yep.
Even myself just recording games and looking back and going, what was I thinking there? Like, why did I make that same decision? Or like, if you can go back through it, like even with no audio, right? You just go back through it and you try to figure out what play you would make while watching your own video. If you can give it a little time in between so that you can, some of it you have to remember, and you're sitting there like, why did I make that play? Why didn't I do this? And then that can, help speed you up as well. And then just play a lot of games. Is the other one.
Yeah.
It's also probably better if you have limited people that you just pick a deck and stick to one deck to learn, and then just keep hammering that one deck out.
Agreed. But yeah, like Cody said, don't skip the analysis part of like reviewing the games and what you learn from the games. I think that matters way more than just playing games.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's supposed to be like a pattern of like play the games, analyze the games, then go back to playing the games with the new understanding of your analyzation, and then reanalyze those games. And then you just keep doing this loop over and over again.
Yeah.
And
if you record that session, then watch it all back and find like the different playlines. Oh, that's so good. We gotta do that more often.
Yeah, agreed.
We always skip the record step, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little hard in this cycle to even get to the record step when we're still like, does this deck work? Is this deck playable yet?
That is the issue.
We're like not at the record step because we're just like, does this deck even play? Like,
yeah. No, I agree.
We're like, yeah, if we had been locked on a deck last week like we were supposed to, then we could be at record session right now.
Man. Like it was the plan I said I was going to. I'd be so happy right now if I was another 2 weeks deep into KO, like not even second guessing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's fine. It's nationals. It's not calling.
That's whatever.
I mean, it's not a pro tour. It's just it's nationals. Okay. Next question's from Mike at Blockout Party. It says, I found that most games from pre-release weekend were far from finished when the time in the round was called. Should adjustments be made to the round timer and or end of round procedure for pre-releases? I don't think anything official needs to be done.
No, they don't need to, but they could. I'd have no issue with it.
Yeah.
I think they should just maybe say something if they don't like store TO discretion.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we didn't have any games finish at time. What I mean by that is like any games that went past time that we just let people finish the games. Like We let them know that they would be in time to play a little bit faster, but like it's a pre-release and people are new and they're new cards, so let's actually play the games out because the games are interesting. And I think that was the best call because people got done with their 40-minute game and they're just like ecstatic about how like back and forth and crazy fun it was.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like you don't want to kill that, right, with a you both lose type of thing at a pre-release, people's like first thing. But it was amusing because like all my games ended in like 10 minutes. It didn't matter like what matchup it was. They were all over in 10 minutes, whether I won or I lost. But I would walk around and at the end of the thing, and every single time, at least half of those games that went way late past time, at the end, both players are just like having the best time of their life. They're just like, oh, that was crazy, because and everything else. And I was like, that's the reaction you want. Like that's what you want the game, especially at a pre-release level. Like that's how you want people to feel at the end of these games. So I think cutting them short just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yep, agreed. I think it is important to have like the TO or someone trying to move those games along, because it would suck if like someone had to leave like midway through the third round because the last two rounds were like an hour each. But I agree. I'd rather have the games play out because it's a lot of people's first time playing Flesh and Blood 2 at these pre-releases.
Mhm. Luckily, we never had any games go to an hour. It was mainly like 40 minutes is basically how they all ended. It was like an extra 10 minutes every round, which added up, but it was like, it's whatever, having fun. I wasn't someone who was dashing from one event to the next event to the next event. Like, I know we have some grinders who do that for pre-releases in the area. I was more of like, I'm just going to go to my one pre-release each day, have some fun, and then go hang out. But I can understand if you're trying to squeeze two pre-releases in. But I think people's first time interacting with the game in a very positive way is probably more important.
Okay.
Cool. Well, we desperately need to go test some more stuff. So I am getting out of here. So goodbye, everyone. We need to go figure out what deck we're playing at Nationals because we have no idea yet. And then I'll probably change it 2 days later and then make more decisions. And then it'll be 1 week before the tournament and then I'll make my decision. And I'm going to be very mad at myself this season. So I'm going to go now. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we're getting rid of the envelope here,
Seven
but
envelope.
What we could do
in
here is go ahead
darkness.
and play the envelope.
All 3 pitches of envelope and darkness.